Sharon gave me a couple of little stats that I'm going to mention too that are pretty good. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. Guess what, though? This is not just any old episode. This is a very special episode.
Super special. Super special.
What is it, Jen Merlin?
It's our 100th.
Woo! It is our 100th episode. Dang. And we have a very special guest in the house for our 100th episode.
We have our number one fan. And
I'm your number one fan.
Right. Our number one fan, Amber. We're so happy you joined us today.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't miss it. This is exciting.
Can you believe 100 of these episodes, Jen?
No, that's awesome. Time has flown and it's been a long time.
It's crazy. See, first of all, I think we should take a second, as we do at the start of every episode, and thank everybody who listens. We love our audience. We appreciate you. So thank you for joining us for our 100th.
More if you share this with other agents.
Yeah, we love that too. We love that too.
Exactly.
All right. So in today's 100th episode, Jen and I and Amber, guess what? We're not going to fight. Well,
we might.
Probably will.
We probably will a little bit.
You know what? We're going to take this episode and just look back on some of our favorite episodes. I'm going to give you guys some interesting stats that you've never probably heard about Real Estate Fight Club. We're just going to reminisce a little, but I know there will be some tips and tricks and thoughts in here that will, as always, help you in your business. So, Jen, how do you remember this thing getting started?
That's a good question. I remember that I was sitting in the workspace at the time I was living in Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
Getting ready to trying to figure out how I could stay there forever and never come home.
That's right. You love it there.
I love it there. And you were like, I don't really remember, but you were like, we should do a podcast. And I was like, that's a fucking amazing idea. So,
well, we were arguing about something, as we do.
Right.
Shockingly. We were arguing about some way to do something.
It's probably about gifts.
Probably. Because you think of that wrong. And so I was just trying to educate you, probably bring you up to speed. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we were arguing and then we realized that, we both do business so differently, but that we have this overarching passion for the business, that we do have a lot of things we do see clearly together on. But it was really clear that, look, you're successful in this business. I'm successful in this business. Amber's successful. And we all do things a little different. That's okay.
Right.
And I think that's how this was born, was as a joke at first.
I think too, like we are both like, well, I was a coach. You are a coach. We're both trainers, things like that. We have also not only a passion for the business, but like helping other people.
Helping agents.
Yeah. And I think part of it too was I think at the time I was coaching and I was just like, I want to do this, but it's like draining. So like, what can we do?
Yes. Yes. So true. And there are a lot of great real estate podcasts out there. Really good ones. And they have, there are. See, here we go. And the thing they do though, is they bring guests on and they, present a way. I liked the idea of in the moment presenting the pros and cons of, both sides of that coin, so that agents could really like take a moment and reflect and say, gosh, what actually is comfortable to me?
Right.
Who do I agree with here?
Yeah. There was
Well, and you say this on your podcast in your intro is like, we're just trying to find there's lots of ways to do this business.
Right.
And we want to find the best ways that work for you.
Yep.
And you bring up lots of scenarios that are common in the industry and talk about the different pros, cons, like you said, or different counterpoint. Mm-hmm. And I think if you are always looking to build and learn and all that, then you can always get something no matter who you agree with.
Right.
That's a great point. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. And that's what we want. Look, you're not going to walk away with like an entire new way to do your business, but you're going to walk away with a nugget or two that shapes maybe what
Or
you
like
do
one of the things that was like unexpected out of this podcast is like, well, just like meeting new fun people. Like if I knew Amber before.
Yes.
Love Amber.
She's the best.
But like
number one fan.
Actually, I'm the number one fan on Amber's fight or her Facebook business page, and I got a badge for it the other day.
Oh, congratulations.
I got a badge. I was like, ooh, it's my badge.
Yeah,
That's nice. Yes.
But it's been fun to meet people and like meeting people from around the world, just random people random agents you would never talk to. And I like the different perspectives because it's like, you know, for all of us, we've been doing business for a long time, and people that are listening maybe have been doing business for a long time. And it's like, I always do it this way works. But then hearing like one little perspective tweak, it's like, oh shit.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And so for those of you listening today, if you don't tune in to the in between our episodes, Jen often does something called What Would You Do? And she's interviewing another agent.
Episodes.
We used to do it a little differently. It was like a tiebreaker episode. It's all the same, meaning she interviews somebody else and talks about either what we were talking about or something slightly different. A lot of great points coming up there.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Amber.
Oh, about the what would you do? That probably is one of my favorite things that y'all do, because I came from a background in healthcare, right? And so a lot of what we did was case studies. So you do case studies on whatever's happening with that particular patient or whatever, and you get so much more. And so when you hear these stories on the what would you do, bringing up these ethical points, or realtor A did this and realtor B reacted this way. Oh my God, I just freaking love it. It's like hearing the drama and learning from it without actually being in the drama and getting your license revoked.
Amber, that's so good. I can't even tell you. That is so good. And I give total kudos to my partner, Jen Mertland, on that. She does that. And it's like a podcast inside of a podcast, and it's really good. And you're right. I think people love it.
Just got to shout out Rachel Reel. She does most of them, and Jim Camerata.
They're great.
Yeah, Rachel's great. Yeah, I've only heard the other guy, Jim, a couple of times, but I like Rachel a lot. Yeah.
That's good. All right. I've got something. I know we want to talk about like our favorite episodes and a couple of like highlights, but I do have an interesting tidbit that I'd like to mention.
Oh, do share.
Believe it or not, first of all, let me give you this and let me give you the exact number. In the last 30 days, from the time this is being recorded, Real Estate Fight Club has had just under 2,700 downloads.
Wow.
2,700 downloads in a month.
Wow. That's is that our biggest month ever?
Biggest month ever. And we jumped from like 2,000 downloads one month all the way to 2,700. And I think now that exponential growth is going to continue to go if you and I can hold it together. And I don't know. But here's the question. Do you know which state in the United States, it's the only state that we don't have a single download from? There's only one. We have downloads.
There's only one?
Other states. There's one state that we don't think we have any downloads from. It's
I'm going to guess like somewhere a little more remote, like Montana.
I was going to say Montana.
Were you?
And it's not right, but it's close. It's
Wyoming.
Yes, Wyoming.
Yay!
So here's what we need. We need you to tag a real estate agent in Wyoming.
Well, we'll just go there and we'll download the. I think Frontier flies.
I love this.
Let me see. Oh, I want to go to Yellowstone.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll just call some random person is this Wyoming? Yes, it is. Could you please download our?
Please download.
I mean, we have listeners.
We'll just show up at the local realtor's office and.
There you go.
Hi.
Hey.
But we have listeners all over the country, and we love you guys so much. And that was a pretty amazing stat when our podcast expert Sharon McCormick
to take over the world. Remember Pinky and the Brain?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, "What are we gonna do today, Pinky?" No, the brain. I forget.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We're gonna take over the world.
What we do every day. Take over the world.
Sorry, I missed that one. I'm sorry.
It's funny. You should watch it.
Oh my God. All right, Amber, our fabulous guest. Do you have a particular podcast that stands out in your mind that
So I had
you thought I really
two
knocked
of
Jen
them.
out really hard or something.
Well, I should put this as a caveat. Typically, I am Team Monica. I only
Shocker, Amber. You're
Yes.
wait, Amber, wait.
Wait a minute.
Let me give some context here.
Give some context.
You and the rest of the world, Amber.
Amber is like, okay, you know how realtors have the capital R symbol, which is anyway, that's a whole nother side story.
Yeah.
But Amber is like the quintessential, which I don't know how to spell, but the quintessential realtor. Like she is like, if you were like, how should realtors be? It would perfectly describe Amber.
I think that's a backhanded compliment.
It's a compliment.
It's backhanded. It's a backhanded. And I think this is why I tend to be more Team Monica. It's only because her business is more relationship based and yours tends to gravitate toward more transactional. And I've done both.
You have.
But yes, I have. And the relationship side tends to work for me a bit better.
But you did the work in the beginning to have build your business this way.
That's true. But I will say there have been times on the episodes where I might be a little more leaning, but then there's a lot of Jennifer in me too.
Yeah.
So
hey, has Jennifer ever
Maybe.
changed your mind on something through one of our podcasts?
I would say yes. I didn't have that as one of the highlights. I should have, Jennifer Martland, but I will tell you my two favorite episodes that I kind of remember. I'm going to get into my notes here, so sorry if I'm okay. The first one was episode 62, which was should the buyer pay commissions? And then the other one was episode 80, which was should you always say yes to buyers? So episode 60 was about the buyers paying commissions.
Okay.
And at first I was very much Team Jennifer. I was like, yeah, hell yeah. This is going to make it more fair. But then I heard, I think you guys had TJ on as like your tiebreaker on the actual episode.
My mind. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. And so he and Monica both brought up a similar point, and it was like, oh, I'd not really thought about it that way, which was like, if that's the case, they may choose to not be represented if they're going to save the commission. So I thought about that too. But I also agree with Jennifer that the system needs to be blown up and start over again.
Blow it up.
The other one was about saying yes to the buyers, which I kind of am both of you guys on that one. But I like that one, especially because Monica was hangry, and it was when she was first starting her intermittent fasting.
Yes, I remember that. I can
She was like, I'm just
spicy.
I know.
She's like too nice, but then other times I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
I think that's what was so funny about it is because Monica usually is like she's the queen of mediation, right? Like she really wants people to kind of understand. I mean, I would say, okay, that sounds also like a backhanded compliment.
I'm Switzerland with an opinion.
It wasn't a compliment at all.
See, it was an insult.
You like.
It was an insult. No, hey,
is this going to be our last episode?
I know, seriously.
Our last? Are we breaking up?
We're definitely not.
Jennifer might be hangry right now. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So that one was kind of funny because Monica was a little more feisty about it.
I like it when she's like that.
And there were some really good points on that one, like good points both ways. And I could see both of them. That one I really was kind of in the middle. But I liked your tiebreaker lady at the end who was like, no.
Who was that?
I can't remember her name, but I think she was out of, I want to say she was out of Chicago or something, but I can't remember exact. Joy, was her name Joy? No, I'm forgetting now what her name was.
Some really good guests. Like,
yeah,
it's
agree.
Amazing. Because
really
I mean, sometimes when you're dealing only in your sandbox and you're dealing with the same agents over and over again, and you're just like, oh my God, this one's mean, this one's nice, this one's dumb, da 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 da, right? But then you get like, you meet all these other agents and you're like, oh my gosh, like this one, like, I like this one.
There's life outside of Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's like, this one is like more like me, thinks like me or whatever. And it like feels, I don't know, it feels nice to get out and play in the world, you know?
I love it.
I do like when you guys have guests from other areas of the country, because it does give you a little insight on how things are done in other areas of the country. especially with some of the laws and things that are different, that's always interesting.
California and Florida are trying to compete for the worst state to do business in.
Oh, they're wacky.
They're like different planets for real estate.
Yeah.
We'll start blowing it up over there.
And they think we're jacked up, I'm sure too. So it's all right.
Of course.
This is our podcast, so
do you have a favorite episode, Mertland, or what are you thinking?
So here's my thoughts. My favorite episodes are the one where the guest agrees with me. One.
So one of them. One or two.
Not as many as agrees with you.
Okay.
I really liked, and then my second favorite episode is one that hasn't aired yet. And it's the one where we talk about, should you represent yourself?
Oh, you mean in a listing?
No.
Or in a buyer?
Can you sell your own house or buy your own house?
Should you represent yourself? Wait, I think that will air though before this does, right?
By the time this airs, that one will have aired. So you can go back and see it.
That one is so good.
It's either 98 or 99 or
something like that. I love that one. We got into it pretty hard.
Yeah, we authentically feel completely opposite on that subject.
We can usually find a common ground, but like for that, we were just like, no, we're gonna have to
say we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Listen to that one. I can't wait to listen to that one.
Yep.
We said what
did you have it?
Said.
Oh, we said what my grandma said, which is we are seeing things differently.
Yes.
That's how she and my grandfather would argue. I just believe we're seeing things differently. Okay.
But if we're talking about like, so I also liked the one, what would you do that Rachel and I did, where cause she's a broker, right? And I don't really follow the rules. So I don't know what they are. So I don't follow them, but she was saying like how, like if you have a buyer that's being represented, and you have to ask if the listing agent has a variable rate commission if they represent a buyer. And that I was like, wow, I didn't know that. Like I learned a lot of stuff from her.
Yeah, because that could be swaying the
exactly. It could change your client's offer. I mean, we don't represent a lot of buyers, but I just thought just that one little piece of valuable information was like critical. I don't think most people knew that. I thought that was really cool.
In our MLS, we do have to put that. It is on the MLS listing. If you look on the commission, it
literacy counts. How many?
Literacy does count. You're right. I know.
You should still ask because I mean, you know, you should still ask.
Right. You're right.
And then I also liked the one when we had Chelsea Goodwin on, where we talked. It was episode 41. Should you go first or last in an appointment?
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
She was giving us like the psychology and the disc profile. That one, she was great.
That's awesome. Yes, I remember that. And you and I were just hitting it straight up, like not considering what the seller was like. We were just saying whether or not it's advantage to us. Yeah, that was good.
Oh, she's awesome. I like her a lot.
That was cool.
We would never have met her if we didn't do the podcast.
This is brilliant.
What are your favorites, Monica?
Okay, so rather than like a specific one, I do have a couple that I highlighted as favorites, but here's my favorite thing is when I say, Jen, you get to go first. And you literally like your answer is one word. Sorry, I didn't mean to drop the no.
Yes, no.
And like, then I could just go.
That's dumb.
You're like, that's dumb. No.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Jen is like, no, that's dumb.
It's just my favorite. And I bet it's 70% of the podcast. You just literally have a one sentence response to
that's all it requires because it's dumb.
I'm just glad we can make a podcast out of it. Thank you for expanding on it. So let me see some of my favorites. Oh, this also happened to be our third most downloaded one, which was episode number 82, which was, so your friend lists their home as a for sale by owner.
Oh,
I think that one, I like that one because I think it really helped a lot of agents. I got the most kind of sidebar comments on that one because I think that's really something every agent runs into at some point.
Yeah.
Right? And so I love that one because I think it gave some artillery for people, you know, like.
Yeah, I like some of the ones where we talk about like, and there's this happened a couple of times where we've actually said like, what are the words that you should use if this happens?
Yes.
I think that's really helpful too.
Yes.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
So obviously I'm your number one fan. So
Clearly.
I'm only going to have exciting things to say. However, do you get a lot of people or other agents who get really pissed off at you? And do you get comments either publicly on your Facebook page or on your YouTube site or whatever? Or do you get anybody like texting you separately?
Great
like,
question.
you guys are crazy, whatever. I mean, do you get anything like any negative? And if you did, was there a particular subject that really you got a lot more?
Yeah, that agent is not living anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. No.
Dang.
You know what? I'm totally kidding. I haven't. Jen, have you?
And sometimes like people will be like, I am team Monica, or like, I disagree with you on that. But like, I don't really care if people are mad. So I'm not sure if they're mad.
But they're not mad at the podcast collectively. We don't get any haters. And I think it's because of the nature of it, Amber. I think it's because we are, looking at both sides, and always there can be a third side. So if somebody feels like we're getting it wrong,
you can take a piece from everybody, from the guest, from either of us, like whatever. It's just, I think what we all like have in common is that the underlying value system is the same. You can go about each scenario however it makes sense, as long as the ultimate goal is in the best interest of the client, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to help them get what they want. And sometimes to get what they want, you have to like beat them up, I guess. I don't know. We don't really have any haters.
You know what though? I think we need haters in order to know that we have arrived.
No, well, we had the one, what was it? I think I was commenting on something, and then we had the one troll that was like trolling me or whatever. And I remember I called you. I was like, Monica, guess what?
That's right. I do.
We got our first troll.
Yeah, troll. It was so exciting.
Yeah. Well, I think the nature of Fight Club is, it's brutal anyway. So I don't think we don't have any haters standing out. And I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much.
Well, but it would be fun though if somebody actively disagreed with everything that we said. Like, the NAR disagreed with us.
Well, that's something. Yeah, we didn't start out. We've had a name change.
3. But when they disagree with us, look, here's the thing. You can disagree. Disagreeing is not a problem, right? But like, be prepared to back it up. So let's talk about it, because maybe we have a weird perspective, or we're not seeing it from your perspective. Like, come on the podcast, let's talk about it. But
I love that response. I think that was a response that I did get something out of when you were telling me, and I can't remember if you all talked about this too extensively on the podcast, but when you had to switch your name from realtor to real estate because of the trademark infringement, and when the person from the NAR was like after you, your response was not to try and defend yourself. Your response was, well, okay, so we made this mistake, but you know what? Obviously other people are too. Right. It's everywhere. So why don't you come on and talk to me about it? And then no response, none. Ghosted.
Basically the version of that is Jen asked that girl to step outside of the bar.
Right.
You want to take this outside?
That's right. You want to take this on.
It was actually a perfect response though, because if you're making that mistake, and you guys have been in the business a long time, then other people are making this mistake. So then help us to not make it, and explain to us exactly why we can't use this.
Well, and that brings up like a point, like being a real estate agent, something that they never tell you, and we talked about this in one of the episodes, is that how lonely it is. And so like you have a couple of your friends that you talk to all the time, but it would be much more helpful if we could all communicate together. And that's part of what we want to, that's part of why we have the podcast, is to bring people together, because it just makes it our life so much easier. If you're like, hey, I'm having a problem, there's nobody in my immediate circle that could handle it, but hey, maybe, I heard Rachel and she had mentioned the same problem. Let me call her and ask her and see if she can help me or whatever, Or you
go back and listen to an episode. You had something come up. Yeah, because there was a time that I had 2 buyers looking at the same house, and that you guys had done an offer or done a podcast on on like, what do you do when you have two buyers who are interested in the same house? And it was like, I think I texted you, Jen, like, hey, I've got this. And you're like, oh, we did a podcast. It's whatever number it was. I was like, oh, that's right. So I went back and I listened to it. And then we talked about it. So it was good.
Nice. Did you see the version of that in one of these big real estate chat rooms or whatever? The listing agent has two offers from two agents and it's the same buyer.
Oh, I saw that. Yes. I think it was on Lab Coats or something.
Yeah, I asked if they were the same offer.
Oh,
because it would be interesting if they were the exact same offer, then the client felt that the agent made a difference. If they were different offers, then that's so interesting and curious, right?
How does that person probably also has two wives and two families. I mean, it's just weird.
Oh, they
or
probably
they're an
do.
investor and they're putting in, because I've had
whatever
that I work for, and they will be like, just, you know what their criteria is and you're allowed to sign. And so you just like put in all these offers. So it could be that too.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, I see what you're saying.
But who knows? It's so interesting.
Do you guys know what our most popular podcast was from a download standpoint?
I could guess.
What?
Gifts.
Yeah.
That was second.
Oh.
Yeah. Should you do closing gifts? If you guys haven't heard that one, go back. That's number 4.
What's the other one? Because I post a lot of them. Like if I see them, if somebody's talking about
someone's asking.
Yeah. And in Facebook groups, I'll like answer and then I'll be like, we did an episode on this.
Oh yeah. You're really good at that. The number 1 downloaded one is our first episode. And I guess that's just time on task at some level, but it was about, should you always pre-qualify a buyer? And you and I got
That's
into
actually
that
a really good one, because that one was the first one, and Andy, our guest, agreed with me.
And then it was downhill from there. Yeah, because I believe that you give them one free look before. Yes. Now, maybe not so much right now. Right now is
not right now. That's a waste of time.
Different time. You know what was interesting when we were looking up the most popular ones? We also were looking up the ones that got missed a lot. And it's interesting, during April, May of last year, when COVID was like super confusing to everybody and really hot, our listens were down during that, because I think everybody was just in frozen mode, like
no, they were homeschooling their kids,
all of that. So there are some really good episodes back in like episodes like mid 30s to early 40s. Those are all around then, if you want to go back and check them out.
That's awesome. I like it. Should we take a small break?
Yeah.
Okay. What are we going to talk about when we come back?
We'll see.
It's
a surprise.
Come back for your surprise. Let's take a break and hear a word from our partners. Oh yeah.
Welcome back. Now let's get back inside of the reminiscing ring. Is what we're doing here.
That is what we're doing
in the backyard, and we're looking at it.
We're reminiscing with our number 1 and favorite fan, Amber, and we love her so much. We're glad you're here today, and we can't believe this is our 100th episode of Real Estate Fight Club. Jen, do we have another 100 in us?
I mean, I was thinking we'll be celebrating our 1000th episode.
Yes,
I'll be like 90 years old, but it'll be great.
What do you think?
Don't you think we should take this on the road? Don't you think we should take Real Estate Fight Club on the road?
Oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to Portugal in October for a few weeks. They have a real estate convention there. So I'm going to go. So we should do, like, if anybody wants to come and work in Portugal with
That sounds amazing.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh,
okay.
What are the name of the beautiful islands right off of Portugal? They're gorgeous.
Yes.
You guys know?
PP.
Not offhand.
PP Islands.
No. PP?
I think they are. Maybe that's Vietnam.
Okay.
I don't know. I think they are called that. I'm going to Porto and we're going to Lisbon is where we'll be.
Oh, how neat. I'm going to look it up while you guys are talking. Amber, what do you think we should duke it out over next? Do you have a subject?
Oh my gosh, I had a feeling you were going to ask me that. And you know, you guys have really covered so much. And every time I think like, oh, no, they've done that one. So I don't know. I mean, there's so much, I feel like, and I feel like you could get a lot of material from some of the Facebook pages that people go and I'm going to sound like Jen for a minute. And sometimes people post the dumbest stuff. Why would they post that? It's so dumb.
So dumb. And now the world knows how dumb they are.
But sometimes some of those will like spark other conversations in the comments. And so that's where I feel like you could get some good material.
There's some really funny realtors. There used to be here in Cincinnati, we used to put on like a realtor comedy show. We got to bring that back, man.
We got to bring it back. Yeah. Realtors would stand up and do stand up routines. And oh, it's hilarious.
One of our guests, Ann Uckman, was on there.
Did she do that? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The islands off Portugal, I think you pronounce them the Azores. Is that right?
I don't know.
Azores. They're beautiful. You must go.
Okay. Thank you.
Go.
I will go.
You're welcome. All right. Well, guys, if you're listening, if you're still with us here today, go to our Facebook page and let us know what you would like to see in the way of a topic. Jen and I are prepared to duke it out, and we have at least another 100 in us for sure, and probably another 800.
$1 billion.
$1
$1
billion.
billion.
But I think that's going to have to be the end of today's celebration. What do you think?
I agree.
I'm so sad, but I'm so happy to have been part of your 100th anniversary, your 100th episode celebration.
And if you're listening to this, definitely go on YouTube on the Real Estate Fight Club the YouTube channel, and look how stylish Amber looks today.
Amber,
my glasses match my
yeah.
Stylish.
And if you don't follow Amber, you should. Amber Allred, ALLRED. Go follow her on Facebook. Yeah,
love it. And if you have an interest in becoming an EXP agent, certainly give me a call, 513.
We always welcome that.
Yes, 400-1691. Thank you, Amber. Thanks, Monica.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Amber. Thanks, Jen. See you guys next time.
Bye.